Moogly morning or good Moogly evening, wherever you are in the world of the internet, as we all still are staying inside with COVID. But today we are now to bring you away from all that shite, and we'll bring you the goodness of Final Fantasy. Today I am with my co-host Chili. How you doing,
Hello.
Chili?
Not bad, thank you. How about you?
I'm doing better, but that's for another story, as I've now have loads of medical tests I've got to do.
Yay.
It's not fun. It's a lot of fun.
Look, once they're over, they're over. That's what. Just think about that.
A whole month of doing them. Ugh, I don't want to do it. Don't want to do it. But I do have my double vax now, so I did get my second shot. Was it the 2nd of this month? I got my second shot.
Nice. So you should be okay to go out soon, because they're like, it's like you're supposed to wait 2 weeks on you or something like that after your second shot before you you gotta wait for it to course through your body and stuff.
Yeah, and then do you know what I did the next day after that? I went all up to hospital.
Sweet. Hey, it's me. Remember me from yesterday.
That's it. So, yeah. Well, no, because I got my shot in another town, which was called Folkestone, and then I had to travel all the way to Canterbury for my hospital appointment, where basically I was there the lumps and bumps. Okay, it's basically for cancer, to talk about some stuff that my doctor was worried about. So a lot of fun. I've got to have a biopsy this month, so that's going to be fun. So I might take a week off of doing anything. So
okay,
very interesting month.
I bought a Stream Deck, and now I have a button that says "Thank you, video game." That's what I've done.
It's a lot more interesting. Get all that Stream
No,
Deck
it isn't.
What, having a button that says "Thank you, video games"?
Yeah.
I mean, we could probably sell that as those little button things that people can press. Everyone can have a Chili "Thank you, video games" button.
Selling Christmas cards. You know, you open it up and it goes, "Thank you, video game."
That'd be great for gamers, because then you could like for parents to have it. It's like, "Thanks, video games." It has like a Steam wallet or something in there, or like a PlayStation top up wallet. I think that'd be pretty good. Thank you, video games. 25 quid on PlayStation. I don't mind that. But speaking of PlayStation, we just came from watching the PlayStation Showcase.
Yeah, we did.
We may put that up on YouTube if we can. Probably
I
not,
will.
because copyright. Oh, you will? Okay, cool.
I mean, well, who cares? Who cares about our copyright when it comes to YouTube?
Yeah, who don't really care, because
we don't make money from YouTube anyway, so.
Nope, we make it quick.
Anyway, we've got
2 guests on.
Yeah, we do have guests.
We have a recent one that we had on a while back on a Christmas. Was it a Christmas episode, or was it a Christmas-ish episode? I think we had one about Wise, if I remember correctly. My brain is confuzzled. But they have recently changed their name from Final Fantasy Noob to Final Fantasy Lover, and my dumbass has not changed to a screen yet. So now we have a screen. But yes, how you doing, Final Fantasy Lover?
I'm doing well, thank you, guys. Thank you for having me back. It was actually, I had a look at this. It was the Part A, episode 100 that I was last on.
Wow.
Which I think was my 2nd or 3rd episode, and that was over a year ago. So you guys have gone a year beyond episode 100. We're creeping them up.
And we're only on was it 129, I
Yeah.
think.
Well, it's because we do it every 2 weeks.
Yes, we'll be back.
We'll have you back for 150 at least. If you want to be back after today.
I think after the first episode I was on, I was sold. So I'll be back anytime you need me.
You just want to brand those Chinese, what was it, the cheese hookers?
Oh, the barbecue cheese hookers and the Chinese Elvis. That was I'm putting that squarely on Flatus's plate.
Don't forget about Polish Jesus.
In a beautiful way.
We also have a new guest, very new, Amberfireheart. How you doing?
Hello.
Tell us a bit about yourself. What do you do?
Oh God. I'm a streamer of 14 and other games. And that's basically it.
You've been streaming some Final Fantasy VI recently, though. It looks like you streamed 7?
Yes. So me and my friend Edgar are doing a race of the entirety of the Final Fantasy series. He's currently in the lead. He's got all the games. He's finished the games before me. So now we're on 7, which he's not very familiar with, but I am. So I'm hoping that I don't lose this one, because if I lose this one, I don't know what I'll do.
7, that's one of my favorites?
It's basically we wanted to play through the entire series together, and we thought we'd make it into a race because we thought that would be more interesting than just casually just playing through the games and stuff. It's fun. I enjoy it. We're really hoping that we can get it done before 16 release. I think we're good on that one.
Yeah, I think you should be okay with that.
And have you? I mean, obviously, seven is a big favorite for everyone. But do you have sort of any favorite highlights going through? I downloaded the Pixel remasters today and just started FF1, which I've played 2 through 6 before. I've never played the first one, and I'm really enjoying it. But it's very new to me.
Well, 7 was always my favorite because it was my first introduction into the series.
Same.
The first game I ever played was 7. Even though we had Final Fantasy 6, but I got into 7 first, and I feel like then I learned way more about 7, like the compilation, the story, and stuff than like a normal person should. I just dove headfirst into forums, into the internet, and like all the dark corners. It was great for a while.
I mean, 7 was really easy to do that because you had like the soldiers. There's like 4 soldiers out of 4 out of 32. There's no more in the game. You're like, where are these 28 other soldiers?
Yeah, I loved the story of 7, and I've always found like when anything was released in the compilation, like when Crisis Core got released on the PSP, I remember playing it in college, and just on the bus, I started it up, and I started crying because of the graphics. Because I was like imagining at this stage we didn't have the remake, so the intro to Crisis Core made me cry because the graphics are so impressive for when I was playing it. This was such a drastic difference to go from the old version to Crisis Core. It's amazing.
See, I felt that when I first started playing 11, and you look back on it now. And it's really weird how your sort of perceptions and expectations are coloured by that. I mean, looking at the PlayStation showcase that Chili and Paul were just covering, and I was watching, and Gran Turismo 7 comes up, or whichever one it is now, and you think, all right, this is it, this is perfect, this is as close to watching somebody doing racing as you can get. But I remember thinking about Gran Turismo 2 when it came out on the PS1. Yeah. I was like, oh, it's never going to get better than this. And you look at it now and go, oh man, it was awful.
Gran Turismo was always very pretty. Like it always tried to like get prettier every year. Like anytime I would see like trailers for like racing games, like the graphics would just get more and more impressive. And I remember playing a lot of Gran Turismo. I was big into like racing games and co-op games when I was younger. I played lots of Spyro and stuff like that. So because I'd play with my brothers, they're the ones that got me into video games. Pass it down the line.
Definitely.
So when it came to like I don't mind watching like Gran Turismo trailers, but at the same time I'm like, do they need to show for this long? It's just cars racing in the circle. Yeah, I would totally play it. I would totally play it because it's fun to like beat somebody in a race.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
One thing was that was really big in it was fighting games. So Tekken was my bread and butter. Freaking loved Tekken growing up. Yeah, my brothers would get salty when I beat them. They're like, "You're just button bashing," and I'm just like, "Well, I beat you."
Fighting games are the reason in the 90s that so many controllers were destroyed.
Yeah.
My old, there must have been the SNES controllers from when we were playing Street Fighter 2. My brother's controller is full of teeth marks from sheer young frustration, and mine's got a few dings in it from where it got thrown at a wall. I don't know what it is about fighting games that just induced rage in our house, but me and my brother always used to battle over Street Fighter.
And you always had that cheap third-party controller for when friends came round.
Yeah, that's it. You never give the friends the original controllers.
Yeah.
Pretty good with technology. I tried to take care of like every system that I own. So I still have like the PlayStation 2 is in my closet. I have the PlayStation 3 behind me. I've got the PlayStation 4. I've got the PlayStation 5. I've got the PSP that still works. I've got the DS. I've got like all the consoles.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
I've got a Mega Drive, a PS1.
I don't have that.
Somewhere I have a barcode backlet that I bought.
We got rid of our Mega Drive. My mum got rid of it because it wasn't working. So we got rid of our Mega Drive and all the games with it. And I'm just like, oh my god, if we kept any of those, they'd be worth gold now. Yeah, they're you can sell these for like immense money now.
Nah.
Yeah,
they were
sometimes.
Sonic 1 was used way too much. It does not work that much at all. Sonic 1 was like one of the games I played all the time. Paul is like, what are these games?
Yeah, no, I've already went to my phone. I'm already like, yeah.
Do you know that Sonic actually wasn't my favorite? Tails was. I liked Sonic, but Tails was my favorite character.
So Master System was my first one. I was around with Master System, but we couldn't really afford one. So I ended up I got a Mega Drive though. Mega Drive was my first one.
You see, I started with an Atari ST in the mid-80s. And my first console was a PS1. Because my parents, they liked the computers because, you know, they could pretend that all we were going to do on them was do programming and learn music and like hacking or something. I don't know, but all we did was game on it. So, but they wouldn't buy us consoles. So as soon as I went to uni, I bought a PS1. That was what I spent like my entire first year's food budget on day 2.
Yeah, when I went to I used my college. I got like some money towards college stuff, and I'm like, oh, PS2 is out.
Yeah,
some of my college funds will go to that.
I got at our university, they did a hardship loan if you could prove that you weren't able to support yourself. And so I managed to get a hardship loan. I'm not going to say where I went because it was very dishonest. I got a hardship loan, which I needed because I was struggling to get food and stuff. And then I spent it on a Dreamcast. And that is still my favorite console of all time.
Oh, the Dreamcast was so good.
It was brilliant. I had to sell my Dreamcast because it turns out I actually couldn't. And I ended up buying another Dreamcast for a ridiculous amount of money from eBay many years later because it was such a good console.
I still have mine somewhere
when they first came out.
I got an insane deal on the GameCube when that first came out. We had a secondhand store in town that was like gaming and had other stuff. And for some reason they had a GameCube. Like this was like a year after it came out for like 50 quid. I'm like, okay, I'll grab that.
I remember the long boot up. You'd put in the thing and then you'd boot it up. You'd turn on your Mega Drive and the first thing you'd hear is Sega.
Oh, the magic music.
Oh, I miss it so much. It's like you can still like get it sometimes. Sega when they do trailers and stuff. Sometimes they say the name, but I think they say it faster. I prefer do the really old Sega.
Like you used to do it.
Oh,
if I'm rightly, it's a copyright issue. Actually, I think I've remember hearing that the person who said the Sega had the copyright license to the voice acting and something to do with that. It's like, yeah.
You wouldn't have that these days, would you?
No.
Sega would have it tied up so tight these days.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Retro Video Game Podcast.
I didn't mean to turn it into retro. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's fine.
I mean, I played a lot of games, like old games, but I missed out on like loads of stuff. I never played Ratchet and Clank, which like boggles my mind. I never came across it, and there's other games that I didn't come across. I obviously played Crash Bandicoot. I remember playing lots of that. There's loads of games that you could name that that were out at the time that were really good that everybody's played, but I just didn't come across them when I was younger. So
I pretty much
my entire list is just Final Fantasy and anything related to Square Enix.
I pretty much skipped the entire PS2 generation, really. Apart from a couple of games, I was too busy with Fantasy 11.
Yeah, I couldn't afford a PS2.
I didn't play Final Fantasy 11. I didn't really like MMOs that much. People were trying to get me into like World of Warcraft and RuneScape and Guild Wars, and I'd play a little bit. I dabble with it. I like got to level 60 in WoW. My friends were like, "Come on, just grind a little bit more, and you can join us for high tier stuff." And I'm like, it's so daunting. I didn't want to do it. There was no, there was like I don't know what it was. Like, I enjoyed the game, but I didn't want to do the grind for these games. I just.
Paul, is that you? You enjoy the high end game, but you don't want to do the grind.
Oh, I hate you, Relic. I want to do it.
Here's the weirder thing, that now that I'm big into 14, I love grinding in 14. It's so weird that 14 is the first MMO where I've like got lost in it. I got to the level cap. I played the Heavensward when it came out. I played Stormblood when it came out. I played Shadow. I've been up to date with all of the patches and all the expansion. Or at least up to date as possible.
I mean, I can't say I don't like grinding because I've just done Eureka for the third time. So
yeah, exactly.
I saw a Pathfinder where they're like selling Eureka runs. I'm like, wait, I can do that. In fact,
I pay real money.
I'll pay you to let me log into your character and do Eureka for you.
Would you, Chili, if I give you the money, would you do that for me? Because I don't know if I want to do Eureka.
I wouldn't. No, I will say this here on podcast. I will not accept money to do runs for anyone. Moogle Go Round do not support paid runs in any way, shape, or form.
Controversial.
Hey, Chili, but Chili's still leveling up my crafters, though, right?
It's okay, I'm a crafting mentor. I can do that. I just can't do your quests.
Wait. Chili, if I baked you cookies and give you cookies, would you do it then?
Yeah, sure.
I wouldn't be paying you in money. I'd be paying you in cookies.
Yay! I mean, I haven't had a cookie in a long time, so nearly all the cookies have nuts. Yeah, nearly all of that.
Yeah, no nuts chili.
Yeah, no nuts chili. I just want a nice gooey chocolate chip, dark chocolate chip, of course, because dark chocolate is the best chocolate.
Always. You see, the crafter leveling, I would say, is all right, because if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Just do Ishgard Restoration and then watch YouTube.
Yeah, last time we spoke, when I was on episode 100, I was on a proper burnout because I think it was like 2 years ago. I came back just before Shadowbringers, having played in 1.0 and ARR and Heavensward a bit. And I started a new character 2 years ago, just before Shadowbringers, coincidentally, and made my Twitter account as 14 noob. And I was like, well, I'll document how far I get through and how I get on and all that kind of stuff. And I'd finished 5.0 about a year ago, whenever it was, when we did episode 100. And then I'd gone, right, now I'm going to level all my craft all at the same time so that I can save on gear and all the rest of it. And I'm going to do it through Ishgard Restoration. And I burnt out in about 2 weeks because I wasn't using macros. I was like manually crafting everything. And it just completely took me out of the game for a month. And then when I came back, I sort of pushed through 5.5 and finished all the content. It was like, right, I need to get this done. Before Endwalker, I want to set myself the challenge of doing crafting. So I found some guides that were like, do this, and this, Ishgard Restoration, using Diadem for your gathering, and all my gatherers were all leveled anyway. And then a list of useful, helpful macros. And that just made it so easy. So I did that up to like 71 on them all, and then just did the Shadowbringers quests and a few leaves and stuff. And I was there in no time. Nice. Chili's right, though. The thing that nearly drove me to burnout again was doing all the class quests on all 8 of them when I hadn't done them from level 20 onwards.
I mean, I still have my level 1 It was funny. I went to go get my crafted mentor. So I've got a crafted mentor, and then I opened my duty finder, my journal, and it's like, botany, your first scythe. Sweet.
I'm something of a crafting mentor myself.
Yeah, I'm somewhat of a crafted. Susan says, be like Flatus and just let your girlfriend or partner, it could be either girlfriend or boyfriend, I'm sure, make all your grand company crafting items for your leveling. It's easy peasy. Now,
You'd have to get one, though.
You need to be in a relationship for that. So
yeah,
right now, I don't know about anyone else, but I'm out of this. I cannot do that.
There was a point where I would happily have been Flatus' girlfriend to get him to do that for me.
Yeah, we would need, unless we all need to be in a relationship to do that. And Tim says, I wish my wife would help me grind fates. Still haven't got her to pick up a controller yet. Okay.
You'll make a streamer of her yet, Tib.
Yeah. Don't worry.
As soon as you've got to do the readings.
Let her listen to this, and then let her listen to your podcast. Eventually, she'll make her own podcast, and that'll be fine.
My understanding is that she was going to start contributing to Tib's podcast and doing some of the story content and the voices. I don't know how far he's got with persuading her, but that's those little baby steps. Yeah. I've managed to get my wife playing D&D with me on a Sunday, it hasn't been a difficult thing to sell actually, but I'm quite pleased with that as an achievement.
Yeah, we need a UK version of She Heals I Tank. In fact, we just need a She Heals I Tank because there is no She Heals I Tank right now.
No, although I hear a rumour that Vegan Pete's on Maelstrom Radio.
Yeah, go check out Maelstrom Radio on Twitch.tv Maelstrom Radio. Which, by the time this will go live in the podcast form, their version will also be live, so go check them out. Yeah, Talon's like, that's how it happens. You listen to Moogle around, and then you start your own show.
Well, technically, since I was last on, so when I was on episode 100, it was me as some guy who had like 40 tweets over the course of a year, and then Taru TV and Mione. I was so outclassed. It was such like a privileged situation to be on with actual content creators. But technically, I can call myself a streamer now because I have done 114 stream. It was 3 hours long, and for the first 1 hour,
you were
36
fishing, right?
minutes, I was muted.
Yeah, I was watching it ish.
Yeah, you did really well because I think you were the only person watching it for the hour and a half I did, where all I did was fish, and I rabbited on about nothing, and I was muted. And until Tib logged in and went, you realise no one can hear you. I was like, oh, crap. I got my mic
I've done that.
Oh.
What I didn't realise is when you stream from a PlayStation, it defaults to muting your mic, but it doesn't tell you that.
No.
It's a sensible thing to do in that you don't want to go live and, I don't know, be heard doing something you shouldn't, but it doesn't tell you that you're muted. So I just went live and started talking stuff and playing 14.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I've often started streaming on OBS and then like a couple of minutes I realize, oh shit, I'm muted. I've been talking this whole time. My chat has not heard a single thing. Then again, my chat's normally fairly empty, so I guess in a sense, is it a good thing? I suppose maybe the people coming in after I figured it out will not realize my mistake, but then go back and watch the VOD and wonder why I'm talking to myself, why there's nothing, and then suddenly volume.
You see, my VOD also is completely silent, I think, until like there's just, and it was awful as well because I was grinding my relic fishing rod. So all I was doing was sitting in one spot and fishing for an hour and a half. I'd got all my bait and everything, so I did nothing but cast. And I was telling this whole story about how I got into Final Fantasy, how I got into 14, how long I'd been doing it. Or, I felt I'd really delivered some key content. And then Tip logged on and goes, "You realise no one can hear you." I was like, "Oh, right, okay, that's really."
Now you have to do it again.
Oh yeah, that's it. I mean, I never planned to stream. I was bored one day because my login queue was like 500 people before they did the server patch, and I was like, "Oh, I've never tried the PS5 share button. I'll just see how easy it is to stream." I was already linked to Twitch and stuff. So it's dead easy. So that night I was like, well, I might as well stream the session I'm going to do because why not? And so I did it, and it was quite good fun. And I do plan to do it again actually.
Yes.
And start doing a bit of a regular.
Once you start, I feel like once you get like started with streaming, because I've made videos, edited down videos, but I feel like streaming is so much easier, so much like less stressful because I don't have to go into an editing software first and have to sit through like clips, more clips. I can just chill out and play a game and
just sit down and play.
Yeah.
I did a YouTube channel on something on Call of Duty for noobs for a while, and that was all pre-recorded, edited, Elgato captured, and it's so much effort. And then just to fire up the stream and just once I finally had people in chat who could hear me, to be able to just talk to people, it was great fun.
I remember my first videos, like kind of, I think, gameplay videos were actually on World of Warcraft. I had gotten Mist of Pandaria, and I thought because, super cool and hip, that like I was gonna get into the algorithm and stuff. I don't know. I was just playing music and having fun and playing the game, and I uploaded to YouTube, and I expected nothing, but I didn't get anywhere. I was seen a couple of times, and I actually got a comment on like one of my videos, like a couple of years after. I looked back and I was like, hey, there's a comment here. Oh. Why did you play music? Because I didn't know what to talk about. I was like...
The thing is, Talon is absolutely right from what he said in chat, is you listen to MGR, you start your own show. It's
if they can do it, we can do it better and make a new one of our own.
I think if they can do it, we can do it is a good sort of motto for the whole 14 streaming community. I wouldn't say do it better. I think on your worst day, at least you guys don't have your mics did. So I've yet to get to those heady heights.
I mean, I used to be like that all the time when I first started streaming, to be honest. But that's only because I just didn't like to talk. So
that's something.
And now you can't get him to shut up. He's fucking talking all the time. Nah, he's off on one when it comes to streaming.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Paul.
I love it.
You see, I sometimes struggle with shutting up, but once you start streaming, it's like, what do you say? Especially when there's no one there. It's like, well, you don't want people logging in and you're just quiet. So you need to learn. Like Tib said something that I found really useful, which is just voice your inner monologue. But my inner monologue is dark and disturbing. So there's only a certain audience wants to listen to that.
Yeah, Susan's right. Yeah,
you get all these guides. You get all these like guides as well into like how to stream and how to keep viewer attention and stuff, and it's like, oh, your viewer attention lasts 17 seconds or some shit, and you have to re-talk and say, hey, this is ad and I'm doing this, and I'm like, really? I mean, okay, I guess I'm going nowhere with this because I'm just gonna do what I do, hopefully enjoy it.
That's the power of content creation, though. I mean, I think if you go into it as a sort of I need to do this to make money, I think the people that do that almost do it with the wrong attitude. Whereas I think if it's like, this will be interesting, I'll share this, and there is an audience for it, that audience will find you. Especially, I think I found 14 more than any other game I've watched or streamed or done YouTube videos for just has that awesome community, and people just love to network and sort of shout out other people's stuff. And so you do just get
Talon.
that.
Go check out Talon Broadbent.
Yeah, Talon's awesome. I was watching his stream the other night, and I'm
Tip and Salt, Talon, Mione, Amberfireheart, who's in the stream right now. Go check out her channel. Mushroom Radio, She Heals, I Tank. I have so many. Ready Set Ben is back to Final Fantasy 14 from what I can tell. Mistoso.
You see, Talon for me Talon's completely aspirational, because the first episode of this podcast Talon was on was the first one I was on, and he was like right at the start of his journey with doing the stream and stuff, and we had a really, really good episode. And then suddenly Talon's got a podcast and he's streaming and it's brilliant, it's entertaining. I'm like, but this guy's so easy to get on with. Like, I don't know what I think a pro podcaster or streamer is like, but I was like, it's just Talon. It's the guy I was hanging out with on Moogle Go Round, and he's he's turned out some fantastic content, so everyone can. When
you come down to it, like I've talked to a lot of people, like streamers and like content creators. Luckily, I've been in a situation where I've actually got into chats with most of these people, and normally they're just as down to earth as we are. So like when you think about it, they're probably just chill.
We're
all normal people behind these monitors. We're all normal.
We're just normal might be a strong word to use for me.
Yeah, you don't want to see what's behind my monitor, but I can portray myself as normal. That's the key.
Yeah, but what I mean is, like, you get people that say that like they're afraid to approach like people like really high up there people and even I get that way. Like if I was to just randomly come across, I don't know, Zeppelin in real life, I'd be like, oh my god. But at the same time, I'm like, but I do what they do. I create, I live stream, I create content. It's not
hang out with Mr. Happy again.
Yeah, it's not up to. I'm not getting their types of views, but you don't think like that. You just think if they're doing it, then they've got to have a somewhat similar attitude to you. They just enjoy playing games.
Yeah, and everyone has an audience. Like there'll be a wide group of people out there who like the games you like the way that you play them and the attitude you have towards them. And it's just, if you're out there, those people will find you. And if you've got a group of people who don't like your content, then they don't watch your content after the first time. So, it's sort of a self-selecting process anyway. It's brilliant.
I feel bad that Paul hasn't been able to talk much.
Oh no, I've been grinding out on Dokkan.
Okay, good.
You
getting those levels?
Yeah, just been like talking. It's like, oh yeah, just listening. I'm like, yeah.
Talon,
I feel like everybody gets nervous. Like every time I go live, I feel like I feel nervous because I'm on live and somebody's going to watch it at the end of the day. There's some level of stress to streaming, but it's you gotta have a kind of a laid back attitude. I don't know. Am I giving good advice?
Yeah, I would say so.
I think so.
Talon's like,
just
how nervous.
Do what you enjoy doing and just keep doing it. As long as you're enjoying it, then that's the main point, right? If you're not having fun, then your audience isn't going to have fun.
Yeah, and ultimately, if you're playing games and not having fun, what's the point?
Exactly. When games become not fun, it's just bad times.
But as Talon said, he was talking about being nervous when he was on the podcast. It was always weird when people tell me that before or after the show. I'm like, but why? We're just normal people talking about a video game that we like. There's
very intimidating, Chili.
Yeah, I am the scary raw.
It's that worry that Paul's going to call you that special word. See, I know what Talon means. I felt the same, and I think the reason is that as somebody who'd listened to the podcast already and had sort of interacted with you guys on Twitter, there is this weird wall goes up, and it breaks down quite quickly. Like, I've met Tibian through you guys, and when he was on your episode, and then through his stream and his podcast, and I quite often watch Tib's stream, and he's watched the one time I streamed, and I can sort of chat to Tib about anything. He's great, but initially there is that sort of them and us. That sort of, they're content creators, they're official. Like I've followed these guys on Twitter, I've listened to their podcast, I've watched them stream. You build these walls yourself. It's such a weird thing. And as I've got to know you and Paul, that just evaporates. I just look forward to the next time we all get to chat. But you almost can't go into it without that, because in a weird way, in our own nerd world, it's like you're talking to someone you know from the TV or someone from a soap opera.
Yeah, it's exactly.
And you're talking to them as a human being.
Yeah, when you think about like the big streamers, they've got to like treat themselves almost as popular as like stars and stuff from. Well, I don't know if that big, but you know what I mean. Like if they go, you get recognized when you walk outside the door, kind of famous. I don't know how many of the big time streamers just get bombarded by fans, but I imagine it happens. Can you imagine going into a shop and getting bombarded by fans? I'm just trying to do my groceries.
I mean, that's the power of the internet, though, isn't it? Like years and years ago, right in the early days, when Day 9 was doing his StarCrafts, I used to watch a lot of Day 9 YouTube stuff when he was well known in that community, but he wasn't that well known online. And now Day 9 is doing like all the adverts for Magic Arena on YouTube and on TV and stuff with Danny Trejo, and he's like this proper huge celebrity. But it's like, well, I used to watch his videos back when he was just doing weird little vlogs about some car accident.
Of course, you hear about the crazy crazy fans too, that like try to figure out where streamers like live as well.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to have to worry about that.
Yeah, I won't have to worry about that.
It's when
to
you
be
get
honest, I don't
super
think.
big.
I'll be honest, I've only ever had one sort of. Well, I've had a couple, but my weirdest one was when
You said you
2018.
wouldn't tell them the story. I'm really sorry. I won't do
28
it again.
2018 FanFest. I was at the media, section of the FanFest. Yeah, sat at the front with all the all the bigger names like Llama Todd, a certain person that I don't want to mention anymore, Mr. Happy. Yeah, there's a load of like these well-known content creators, and this guy, came up and asked for autographs. And like, oh, can I get your autograph, Mr. Happy? He's like, yeah, sure. Can I get your autograph, Llama Todd? Yeah, sure. Can I get your blah blah blah? Then he looked at me, and I think he's like, I don't know who you are, but you stood here with the rest of them, so out of manners, I might just ask you anyway.
I want it on record right here and now, Chili. I would like your autograph.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd love it too, please.
I'm going to frame it and I'm going to put it on my wall.
Well, if I ever meet, you can have it.
If you put it on a Nando's menu, then my life is.
I will sign anything. So if you bring a Nando's menu, and I will sign it.
Go into a Nando's and steal their menu, and then just get chili.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the dream. That's Moogle go around merch right there. Yeah, I've got the Loom-chan heat-changing mug from episode 100, but it's nothing like an autographed menu.
That'll never be sold again.
No, I stopped using mine because I was worried that the heat-changing would stop working. It's now like a treasured item on my desk.
Hell, even I don't have one.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the T-shirt right now. I wear the T-shirt all the time. It's a really good T-shirt, but I don't have the mug.
Yeah, I wear the T-shirt a lot.
My mum's got the T-shirt.
We'll probably do merch for episode 150, but it'll be different merch. Maybe underwear. I don't know.
No, chili underwear.
Moogle go round underwear.
You want underwear? It just says Moogle go this way round, so you don't wear it backwards.
Moogle go this way round. And just have the palm at the front.
I'll admit that there was some stuff that Paul got to see that didn't get released. Like, I made Moogle go around sneakers for episode 100.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I designed Moogle go around sneakers, Moogle go around flip-flops.
Cool.
They never got released, but yeah, they got designed.
I remember when Streamlabs was advertising me the store on the dashboard, and it kept like shoving it into my face, and I was like, okay, I'll look at it. Gosh, put my logo on a T-shirt, and then I linked it on my Twitch to see if anyone would want to buy it, but then I just cut it completely because I was like, why? I don't have that much.
Well, that's what we used for the store for the 100. I just paid for a month of Prime and then cancelled it afterwards. Yeah.
It's quite expensive, like, was it 30 quid?
Yeah, Prime is pretty expensive, but the quality is so good that it was kind of worth it.
It was like coming from Spangs. Everyone didn't get it until like 2 months.
Yeah.
So it was like, I think most of the British people who got it kind of got it like half of the Americans. Sorry for it. It taken quite a lot of time to get.
So, Fantasy 14 is the game we play, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's the one.
Now, we were going to do a DPS episode, but I don't know if we're going to bother really. But do you both, anyone here play DPS?
I play everything, but I have 2 DPS at max level. So, like, I have played some DPS, and I'm currently leveling a 3rd one in a vaguely weird way in that I'm leveling Scholar, and therefore I will finally have my Summoner up. Which,
nice.
My first icon when I started the Final Fantasy Noob channel was Summoner, because that was going to be the first job I leveled all the way up. I was going to be Summoner, and I think it lasted like 50 levels, and then I did something else. But I've got Dragoon and Red Mage, both at max.
Amber?
When I started playing the game, I started as a bard because I liked the Mikote from the Realm Reborn intro movie.
Oh, yeah.
When I saw that, I like immediately clicked with the Mikote that was shooting the bow. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make my character after her. So that's what I did. And I just enjoyed the game from there. When I replayed it, and when I made a new character and decided to main on a different server from Masamune, I decided that I wouldn't go DPS because of the queues, because the queues were horrible for me as a DPS, so I wanted easy queues. So I knew healers had easy queues, and I thought giving healing a try. So I went White Mage.
That's exactly the reason that I got White Mage to 80 before anything else. Was I started as summoner, and the queues, I'd log on and not get a dungeon before I had to go and do something else. And I was like, you know what, healers.
I was in a queue for like over a half an hour waiting for something as a DPS, and I was just like, oh god. So I'd message my friend who mained a healer, and I'd ask her to queue with me so that I could get the dungeons done.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I wouldn't get any of the dungeons done. I just could not get into like anything. I'd queue up for something and I'd be waiting like a half an hour. But if my friend queued with me, I'd be like 2 seconds.
And if that's endgame, that's annoying. But if it's blocking MSQ progress, it feels so bad because you're so excited to learn the next bit of the story. And it's like, no, you've now got to wait 18, 19 minutes. It's like,
it was really annoying because when I was trying to level up, I was trying to do the roulette, and even the roulette was really slow for me. And my friend who got me into playing 14 was like, you have to do your roulettes to get enough experience to finish the story, and grinding the levels to 50 was actually so slow. I actually didn't think I was going to get to 50. I was like, I'm going to quit the game before I get to 50. There's no way I'm going to see end game. And I actually didn't play any like end game content of A Realm Reborn. By the time I got to like the end, I think the first 2 patches had come out or were coming out, and it just went straight into like patch stories. I remember the feast coming out, and like having to run away from Ul'dah. It was crazy.
Yeah, I still haven't done Binding Coil. It's on my long list of.
Yeah, I didn't either. My friend was telling me to do coils, and I was like, "What are coils?" And she's like, "You'll understand. Just go to do this." And I'm like, as a DPS, I was with the long queues. I was just very, what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't appealing to do other content outside of main story because the queues were so long. Of course, now the queues are not as long anymore because the servers have been overpacked with players. So all the queues are popping for stuff, and it's nice to see the server. It's nice to see like 14 so busy, even though it's downtime for the game.
Yeah, I think the anticipation for Endwalker is huge, isn't it? It's the right time, that sort of perfect storm, and it's brought a load of people in with big streamers, problems over and all of that stuff. But the fact that everything is so popular right before Endwalker, I think Endwalker is going to be like a big expansion.
I can't wait for Endwalker. I was so disappointed that I missed out on the collector's edition because I was up. I was awake for the most of the night, but I just couldn't stay awake any longer. And I knew that the collector's edition box wasn't going to come out until the next morning anyway. And I thought there would be plenty there, but with so many people coming to the game, it sold out within like a half an hour.
Yeah. I'm happy I got mine.
It didn't last long at all.
I'm happy I got mine. I'm going to keep it sealed like I've done the others.
And I was so upset. Actually, I was so upset that I missed out on it because I was like, oh, if I'd woken up any earlier, I would have probably been in a queue at least to get it. But
I'd say keep an eye on it because people have been charged.
Yeah, I really hope that they do more boxes for people. I really hope that they make more boxes, the collector boxes.
Not just that, but people haven't been charged. People haven't been charged yet if they're pre-ordered. So keep an eye because there might be some people that don't have money in and it gets cancelled or they don't want it later on. So
yeah,
maybe next month there'll be some more that pop up, but it'll be a limited amount.
I think Mio's like, he says like keep an eye to it. It might, you never know. It might come back out. They might make more with the demand being so high. I can't imagine it would be a downside to make more. right?
I mean, the collector's edition is always sold afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
At least I think so, right? I think you
I
can still
think
buy
so.
them. I don't know.
I think you can still buy like I know that you can the digital collector's edition because like you can still get like the Realm Reborn collector's edition stuff, like digital stuff. I don't know if you can get the physical boxes. I have the Stormblood and the Shadowbringers because those are the only ones I got. I was tempted to get the Heaven's Word collector's edition, but I didn't know how, like, even after Realm Reborn, I was like, this game is good, but it hasn't hooked me, I don't think, yet. So I was unsure, like, how far I would go, like, how much further I'd go, but my friend was, like, determined to keep me in the game. And I'm so glad she did.
You see, I'm so excited for Endwalker because it is my first expansion. It's the first expansion I'm ready for. So, like, I played since 1.0, but never really got. I've got like 5 different alt accounts, 2 of which are 1.0 and 2 of which are ARR, and I'd enjoyed it, but never really got hooked until I restarted a couple of years ago. But it was just before Shadowbringers, which was, you know, I didn't know it was coming out. And the only reason that I'm on the server I'm on was when I logged onto my old character, it was like a queue of 1,000 people. I was like, why is this? So I just rolled on a new server and started a new character. And it's completely hooked me in this time. But I'm now ready. You know, I've got all my crafters and gatherers leveled. I've got a number of jobs leveled to 80. I've done 5.5. It'll be the first day that on day 1 I can log into Endwalker and start doing Endwalker content. Because I talked about this on the show when I was first with Chili and Paul, that when I first started, I was really excited for the game. And the first thing I did was download the latest episode of Maelstrom, She Heals Like Tank, Gather Together, Moogle Go Around, and a few others that I'd listened to before. And immediately couldn't listen to any of them because they were all talking about the new expansion. And it was, by the time I found all my podcasts, we were about a week or 2 in. So people were starting to go, right, well, this is week 1. We're not going to spoil too much. But I'm like, no. So for 6 months while I tried to catch up to Shadowbringers, I couldn't even listen to content, which was killing me because I love to listen to podcasts when I'm not gaming.
Yeah.
So this time I can do it.
I remember pre-ordering Stormblood and getting into the early access for Stormblood. It was the first time I did early access. I was in time for early access because I wasn't in time for Heaven's Ward, but I was for Stormblood. And I remember I remember Raban's wall, the line of like people lining up, and I was just so amazed that like people kept the line for so long. Like the line would just get longer. And people would come and take pictures of the line. I did it myself. It was great. I loved it. People were trying to get past it, and there were some people that said that they managed to and that they were able to continue the story. And because I was trying to stream Stormblood at the time, I kept trying to get past the instant, and I couldn't. So I just gave up. But apparently, if you kept at it, it will glitch you past it or something. Because apparently people got past Raban's wall.
Let's wait till it was done. Because Samurai came out and I was leveling Red Mist. I was lucky at that point, and I was just leveling that. So.
I kind of want a Raban Savage to just for even an April Fool's joke, because that would be hilarious.
I said I got the actor to do it in real life. It was great.
Yeah.
Anyway, DPS jobs.
Yes, DPS.
Yes, back to the topic. Yes.
That's a topic. It's Moogle ground. We were going to do episodes on each role, but with the job trailer being out in like 2 weeks, anything we say now is going to be like next week actually. By Paul, we're going to be hopefully doing it with Mouse and Radio. So that'll be good. Who's looking forward to the job trailer? Paul, do you want to say anything before we jump into this? Because I feel bad that you haven't talked.
I think I'm just looking right now at a few classes. Obviously, the Summoner and Scholar.
Yeah,
and also Bards. There's a my kind of hunky-dory looking at, and obviously Reaper, because I hope there's more Reaper, because that's what I'm going to be playing next expansion. It'll be a one trick, nothing else. But hopefully, and Dark Knight. I want to see if Dark Knight gets their love back.
And I know Flatters from Mouse and Radio wants to see Dark Knight get some love.
So
yeah, me too. It's my latest job to 80, and it certainly was going to be my main through Endwalker. It may still. I've got some ideas, but I'm so excited for Dark Knight because I struggled with it in early leveling, and Tibian in the chat, I said I'm going to do Dark Knight, and I did like 3 levels of it and went, I can't play this, I don't enjoy it, I'm going to go back to Warrior. And Tib was like, you don't like Dark Knight? I was like, yeah, I'm like level 35. He's like, right, keep playing it. So I kept playing it, and it is brilliant.
I don't mind it, but Paladin is still my favorite tank. Talk about DPS jobs though. My favorite DPS is still Monk, even though Monk makes me cry inside because I don't like what they did by removing Grease Lightning. I don't like it. And
I could watch you Monk in Eureka for days.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, a skill that I miss is Reign of Death on Bard. Please bring that back. Please bring it back.
I'm hoping we get
some spam arrows.
I'm hoping we get some skills back that we lost. Like, I know it sounds
Protect,
weird.
Stone
Stone Skin. The reason why I feel like Stone Skin wouldn't work currently is because we've got so much HP that you would have to nerf the percentage of Stone Skin so much that it would look stupid when you looked at the tooltip. Like,
yeah, but we're getting nerfed anyway. So
yeah,
getting
nerfed anyway.
That's it. After the stat squish, that might work.
Yeah,
but
they might bring it back because they're nerfing stats anyway.
Right now, it wouldn't work because we've got like 200k HP, and a 5% Stone Skin would be stupid. But you'd have to be like, Stone Skin does 0.5%. But now that we're actually getting our HP nerfed down because of the stat squish, which, by the way, as I've said before, and we're going to say it here on Moogle Go Round, just because your damage is going to be lower and your HP is going to be lower doesn't mean you're going to be doing less damage. It's percentile based. Yeah.
Everything is being squished.
Yeah.
So the amount of damage that you are doing now, you'll still do to like the boss. It's going to look lower.
Yeah, it's just
You'll
relative.
still hit the same. I feel like when the team talk about like stuff like this, it's like I feel like it's unnecessary that they're telling us about this stuff. It's like it's all mathematical stuff. I mean, you don't got to tell us this if you don't wanna. I mean, not much is changing, but they care so much about us that they're gonna go into detail.
And there will be someone who does a YouTube video that's like, my samurai used to do this many K DPS and now it does this many. And it's like, well, it still does X% to the boss. It's it's just to keep the numbers down on the server so they can manage the expansion.
Yeah. It's so that we can have more expansions in the future as well. Because Endwalker is not the end. As Yoshi P has said, I don't know how many times.
He said
Endwalker is not the end. It's just the end of Hydaelyn and Zodiac's arc. There's just a story. There's an arc of the story, and it's coming to an end. A new story will be told from 7.1 onwards or 6.0 onwards.
They should have called it the beginning of the end. So Tib made a couple of points in chat. One of which was that his favorite DPS is Ninja, but it's punishing if you mess up. And that was the job I always wanted because that was my 11 mate. Yeah. But I haven't got it too high because it was the first one that I ran out of room on playing on a controller. I ran out of room on my action bar before I discovered W cross hotbars and stuff for using the walk to game guides. I was like, at level 30 something, I've run out of buttons. This is unplayable.
I love walk to game guides, but I don't like the fact that they use macros for some of it. Oh, that's I can't. There's no point. No.
I only macro for practice.
No, I've got some controller macros for for Asylum and for Salted Earth. I have it macroed for those so that it'll do it on the target I'm targeted rather than having to move it around. But apart from that, everything else is not macroed.
The other thing that Tib said is that Black Mage is awful, and all I will say to that, given that we're discussing DPS jobs, is when I started my Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster playthrough today, which I'll be streaming a bit of, I picked a Black Mage and I named it Tibian, just in your honour. So there you go, mate. Because I knew you hated it. So I've called my Black Mage Tibian. My White Mage is Chili, obviously, because Chili did the White Mage combo. And my main is Red Mage because that is my main DPS.
Yay. Well,
I think My favorite DPS is a tie between Red Mage and Dancer.
You see, Dancer's one that I really, really mean to play because everybody raves about.
Talk about Dancer, though. Susan said Monk was my first job when I started Fantasy 14, but I didn't know what to pick. You know, if I'm right, she said it was something like, originally it said it's because it did fisties, and I had no clue how to play it, and then I switched to Black Mage, and I sucked at it, and now I'm adequate dancer. She's a really good dancer, a very good dancer, I'd say.
I'm not a good dancer in real life, but I think I'm a good dancer in 14. I think.
I'm a dad dancer in real life. I think that's a particular stance in 14.
You're a dad. You're a dad dancer.
Yeah, you know, like old man dancer, and have been since I was like 19. It's not like it's new.
Yeah, I think I'm the same.
See,
I'm really looking forward to with Reaper is like the story with the class. You know, like this class story.
I mean, we already know they're angry botanists.
Yeah, but how angry were they, and how deep does the story go?
I mean, they've summoned demons, so I'm going to go with very.
Somebody went and stepped on their flowers, and now they're angry.
Now they use the axe.
And then and they use demons from the void as slaves to the harvest.
It's the best way to get the crop.
Yeah, it is. But now next week we've got the live letter with the job stuff. I do worry that people are going to overanalyze it. I know we will as well because we're a content creator. So of course we're going to do that just because content. But so many people will be like, "Man, Monk sucks now because of so and so during the live letter." It's why we don't get job changes now or anything like that before the patch. Like, we'll only hear about the actual changes when the patch goes live normally. Because as soon as they announce any changes at all, people will jump on them. Just because, oh my god, it's lost 10 potency. Oh no! Or in the case of Bard, it's lost 10 potency. It's gained 10 potency. Oh, it's lost that 10 potency again. Oh, it's gained that 10 potency. Now we've got the expansion coming out.
And to that, I say, I've lost Protect. Get over it.
I mean,
not in PvP. I'm a healer and lost Protect. That was painful. I got over it.
You still have Protect in PvP?
Yeah, that's true.
That is true, yeah. It's the only time I get to see it. Well, except I get to see it in Bosja as well.
Yeah,
I can use it in Bosja. But I think one of my friends made a request ages ago, early 14, for a skill, and that was a better Isona, like a radius Isona that would hit more than one person, that you could just pop, and it would heal a bunch of effects around you.
I think the challenge with that is that they like that mechanic in the bigger sort of 8-man, 24-man content where there's sort of a group-wide or a raid-wide debuff that you've then got to manage. It's like, who do you debuff in the time you've got, and how do you prioritize that? And I think if you could do that, it takes away some of that power. So I think like some of the content I've started recently to do more kind of older raid content, like the Shadowbringers Alliance raids and stuff. The Stormblood Alliance raids, I mean. And you start to see that mechanic more and more, and some of them are debuffable, but you see like half the party survives and half doesn't because the healers can't get it all done in time whilst dealing with mechanics. And there's kind of that pressure. Whereas
you can make it level based though.
Absolutely.
If they introduced it in Endwalker, it would be like a level 80 something. It would be above level 80, so you wouldn't be able to use it in lower 80 content. Therefore, like, it wouldn't actually be a problem for older stuff, and then they could make like certain debuffs are immune to Isona doesn't cure everything.
Yeah.
Another thing my friend wished it could do is just heal. It heals one stat per cast. I think when my friend was always like, I wish it healed everything at once. That way it could move on to the next person.
Yes, I think that's the sense.
I mean, look at Blue Mage. Blue Mage has the AoE Asuna that Skull used to have. It's so good.
So this DPS conversation, it's healing jobs then.
I mean, if I talk about Blue Mage, technically
it's turning on to like all the jobs.
But that's the joy of synergy, yeah.
Yeah, if I talk about Blue Mage though, that's technically all the jobs, so it's fine.
Here's the thing: if you can't just talk about one class, you have to talk about them all. I mean, they're all going to get updated in next week. We're going to have new abilities for all of them. So, like,
for those that want to hear about all of them, now remember we've got a tank and a healer podcast. You can go back and listen to.
Yeah.
We had a healer podcast with Brooke, and we had a tank podcast with Flat. I'm so bad with names. We had guests on all of them.
We had Flattish, Java Monkey, and Targe.
That was it, yeah.
And they were all great. And really useful, actually. I listened to the tank one more than once when I was switching to Dark Knight as a sort of tank anxiety. Everybody tanks, it's fine. From a DPS point of view, I've tried a lot of them. Tib mentioned like Ninja being his issue, and Ninja's the one that I do want to go back to, but there's just so much going on. But I gravitated towards Dragoon, I think, because ultimately Dragoon is quite simple in terms of rotation. It was my first 80 DPS job, and it's cool.
And Emmy from Usecast.
Of course. I leveled Dragoon through Heavensward, which, if you're going to level anything through Heavensward, level a Dragoon, because from a story point of view, you know, when you're fighting Nidhogg and stuff, it was so apt and so cool. And then after that, I did Red Mage, because I've always liked Red Mage since early
Refresh
game. For anything as well. But also, I did an 8-man instance not that long ago on my Red Mage, and I think I rezzed 24 times. We did it. It was one I hadn't done before. It was one that only 2 people in the group had done before. So everyone was struggling. I rezzed 24 people. I've never done that as a White Mage, because you've just got instant cast rezzes, and you don't have quite the mana issues that healers have. And so I just think Red Mage utility, which is talked about a lot, is really useful. But also, the effects look really cool. You get flying swords, and you jump in and out. You've got kind of the best of Dragoon, but you don't jump back quite as far, it feels. So you don't jump off stuff quite as much as you do with Dragoon.
Yeah. But Dragoon, that's why Dragoons are called floor tanks.
Oh, I know.
It's because they play an important role by tanking the floor.
I have played that role many, many times with Dragoon and done something I've gone, this is going to look so cool. And then I'm like, oh, right, the arena ends there, does it? Right, bye, guys. I'm really sorry.
I remember the old day Titan, and the Dragoons would jump off the platform. They'd do a jump, and then the platform would delete, and then you just go, whoop!
The number of times in Titan that I've thrown my Dragoon off the edge of a platform that is now smaller than it used to be.
This is the memories of like the old days when like funny stuff like that would happen. It wasn't funny at the time for like people. It was like frustrating. But now we all laugh at it. Ah, yes, floor tank. Ah, I love the floor. Ah, it's so comfy.
See, since they gave Red Mage the ability that when you can do your back jump, it shares the timer with just like another face damage attack. I just don't do the back jump anymore unless I need to get out of mechanics, because I'm like, it's so embarrassing if you mess up, or you back jump into another mechanic. You're like, oh, I timed that really badly, because your animation locked for just like a few seconds, and then they put out an AoE and you're like, I'm going to land in that and I'm going to die.
The best backflip that I ever saw was from one of my friends. We were raiding in we were doing to the edge. Seed of Sacrifice. We were doing Seed of Sacrifice extreme, and we were doing good. And then all of a sudden, our Red Mage he does a backflip, and he backflips into the wall, and we just started laughing. It was great. It was just like it was magical. It was so magical to see it happen.
Okay, we're going to be wrapping up the show now.
Go.
Yes, we've been over an hour, though. I warn you now, anyone that's listening to this right now, next episode is probably going to be super long. You're going to agree, Paul, right? Because of everything that we're going to be talking about, probably. Because there's a lot to cover. But this episode, we're going to try and stay with our usual hour-ish. Any thoughts before we start wrapping up?
No.
Paul?
I think just thanks for having me on. It's been fun.
Completely agree. Always good to be on Moogle Go Around.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, no, it's a good podcast. I sat here on my phone mostly.
You didn't join in. You didn't join in on the conversation. You're just like, phone.
No, because at the first bit I was like, yeah, I'm too young to talk about any of these, so I'll just get my phone.
You could have brought up Bard. We were talking about DPS. I know you're a Bard.
My Bard.
I'm a samurai.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. You guys had it covered. I was fine. Sitting there drinking water.
But we missed you. We demand the last 5 minutes. It's you talking.
We require solid Paul action.
Yeah, we need Paul.
We need Paul time.
This show does not exist without Paul.
Yeah.
So
Paul,
we'll be coming
Samurai.
tomorrow, the next show. Samurai, I don't care about. I'm just playing Samurai because I'm kind of bored because I had nothing else to play, I guess.
I haven't tried Samurai.
Samurai is good. It's the best DPS. Probably because it's just greedy. It has the highest DPS. But other than that, I don't know what they're going to do for it. I don't know if they're going to take out, because the last media tour was basically giving it just, little like niche upgrades kind of thing. It's like what they're going to be doing to Dancer and Gunbreaker. So it's going to give them some, little skills here and there just to help out with their rotation now. So Samurai is not going to get much. I can say that much. Or it might just get a big overhaul. Who knows? We don't know. I don't work at Square Enix. I'm like Chili.
I don't work at Square. I don't know anything. I don't know anything.
Square Enix and Yoshi P listen into all our conversations. So when we have theories and stuff, they just micro-pick them from the ether and just put them into expansions. So whenever you think you're talking alone, you're not. Square Enix is always listening.
I feel bad if there's any employee that has to listen to podcasts and has new Moogle Go Around is out. I guess I have to listen to that.
I love it. Everybody likes a conversation where people are positive and love the game. It's all good.
Anyway.
Dancer, I just want Dancer to have some love because right now it's the lowest DPS. Dancer does better, I would say, utility than obviously a Bard does. Bard gives you like the songs that give like 2% or 1% damage up to 2% crit / direct. I would like that to look a little bit better. I'd like the songs to look a little bit better because the songs they look appealing to when I'll impress my Mage's Ballad. It does like a small little like hit and you can barely see it. But yeah.
And I'm weird, but if I'm going to play Bard again, because I played Bard back in the day for a little bit. I didn't main it, but I leveled it up. You know what I want? I'm never going to get what I want. But
if you don't say it, you won't get it.
I want Bard to get its healer limit break back.
Same, to be fair.
I didn't realize that Bard had a healer LB until like Larry Azar came out with his video, like talking about like old stuff that happened. I was like, this existed at what point? I played ARR. I don't remember a healer LB3 for Bard. But then again, I don't think I went into any content where I had 3 LB bars. So
I want Bard to get a healer LB3. But be slightly nerfed so that the healer ones are better, but have it so that the Bard LB3 healer revives the whole party, but you're only around half HP. That way, the healer one's still technically more useful. And I'd love to see that the Bard LB for all 3 of them, like LB1, LB2, and LB3, have LB1 and LB2 have a mild heal so that your support, or if it's not a heal, have it so that the Bard LB does like a damage buff to the whole group. Same with Dancer and Machinist. Have it so that their LB does something other than just damage. Have it be the lowest damage LB, but have it give a support buff to the whole group in some way.
Yeah, because otherwise, as those roles, as that ranged physical DPS, you're just not expected to ever LB because there's always somebody better in the party to do it. And it would be nice if there was some variation.
So you want the LBs to have like a variation on with more than just effect.
Well, just the range support because they're support. Anyway, Paul, what are you going to say?
Well, no, like there have been some utilizations of a ranged LB because in some end game raiding they have been used. Same for tank
Omega,
LBs.
right? Omega, you used it to kill both of them times.
Yeah, because you line it up. It was great, stuff like that. It was, I think, even in Eden at some point you used it on Garuda and Ifra at some point before they went up. I mean, yeah, I'd like it to be better, be a lot more fun.
Yeah, I just want it because it's a support class to do some support with Limit Break.
I think then it should be a damage up buff. Yeah. If for bards and dancers, it should be like dancers should have like a kind of speed buff attached to theirs, and then the bard should be damage up, right? Because that would make sense.
And then machinist should just be a nuclear warhead.
Yeah, the machinist nuclear war.
Well, I think that to be balanced, as much as I'd like that, I think they should all get the same buff, because otherwise you're just going to have people go, I don't want a dancer. It only gives crit. We want base damage.
Yeah.
And they'll pull their mustache. Yeah, they'll pull their mustache.
I think they probably would have, I don't think they would have cared so much on the LB, because usually obviously the melee would LB anyway, or, they'll be that, or the healer would LB for the raise. I think if they did have that kind of, say if like they were all different, I think first of all the machinist one, that should just stay as DPS, because it doesn't really give any utility. Like any support, it can give out a shield with tactician, but that's literally it. That's all it does. Other than that, it's just a burst down DPS. Dancer support, bard support should have different kind of LB. But I think Dancer would probably still get picked over Bard, because Dancer gives so much more than a Bard does. Kind of
but the Dancer LB3 is so pretty.
Can we just can we all agree that Red Mage LB needs to be nerfed? And by nerfed, I mean lower the brightness.
Nah, it is very bright.
We like shiny things. Let us have our shiny things.
I like shiny things, but I've been blinded many times from Paul Rambo. I
had to limit my effects because there were so many people joining the game. There was like effects everywhere, so I had to lower my effects for the first time in like ages. I think I'll up them again for Endwalker, but I'll see.
No, I have.
How crazy
limited effects because I'm a Lalafell and I'm tiny, so any big effect kind of like, where am I?
You're just making me want to go find your character and go holy on top of you. Yeah.
See, I've been struggling with that in Bozier because, as soon as you get into the critical engagements and it's just all brightness, it's like I have no idea if I'm standing in the goo.
So
yeah, it's helpful for boss, super helpful to have it limited.
So Amberfireheart, have you got any shout outs? Is anything people can do to come? Is there any contacts you want, and how can they watch your content?
You can watch my content on twitch.tv/Amberfireheart. That's where I stream, and you can follow me at Amberfireheart on Twitter. I don't tend to tweet out a lot of stuff, but I retweet some nice art when I see it, and I tweet out almost all the time when I go live. I'm getting very good at that.
You got any shout out?
Anyone you want to
shout out there?
Amber, any shout outs? Anyone you want to promote? Or
promote.
Or shout. Yeah, just.
I suppose Edgar Perlazzo, the dude that I'm streaming with the Final Fantasy race. You could give him a watch. He still needs to hit affiliate so that he can get emotes.
I mean,
so if you can help him get emotes, he'd be very happy.
Yeah.
Do you want a link for his channel?
Yeah, if you can put it in the chat if you want. And Fargoose, have you got any shout outs and how can they contact you?
Well, you can contact me on Twitter it's currently at FFXIV_lover. Although I suspect that will change by popular demand to @fart, because that is just well, you've got to give in to peer pressure. That's what I was taught as a kid. And Susan Sprinkles, the wonderful Susan Sprinkles, is insistent that I should be called Fart Goose. So I think that is going to change. So it'll either be FFXIV_lover or @fart goose, if I can get away with that. On Twitter, you can find me on Twitch at farthestgoose_FFXIV_lover. I've done one stream. I will do some more, and they will have microphone on. In terms of shout outs, obviously people should be listening to Moogle Go Around Radio, and they should be listening to Maelstrom Radio. People should also go and check out Tibian Salt's streaming on Twitch, because he's fantastic, he's entertaining, and his new podcast, Just Sort of Casual, is definitely worth a listen. He and Beth have got great chemistry, so go and check out the Just Sort of Casual podcast.
Okay, and Paul?
to all the people that follow, all the people that have listened, and all the people that have been on the show, and all of our friends over at Team Whiskers as well. And shout out to Chili for letting me stream tomorrow. I'm hoping everything's going to go right. I may see a test stream beforehand, probably in a little bit to test Tales to see if I can stream it. Should be able to, I don't know, but hopefully I can. So we'll see. But yeah. And obviously you can just follow me at Paul1. At Paul1? No, it's at Paul Metal 1 on Twitter where I talk anything from Dragon Age to Cyberpunk, from Tales. So yeah. And what about you, Chili? You got any shout outs? You got any?
I guess I want to shout out to both Amberfireheart and to Fart Goose for joining us today. Thank you so much, as always. It was a lot of fun. I'd like to shout out to anyone that is in the chat right now. Big shout outs to Talon and Tib Insults and Susan and anyone that came in to join them. I also want to give a shout out to Dylan Thorne, sorry. They are planning to do a charity event. We're not sure yet exactly if we're going to be involved or not. We've still got to get something talking about it, but I want to promote it a little bit. It's called Fantasy 14 Light Pie. It should be launching on the September 30th. They're planning to do a fundraiser idea to make money for charity. We don't know if we're going to be involved yet. We still got to do some talks about stuff behind the scenes, but I want to give it a promotion at least. I want to give it a shout out. And I want to shout out to whoever bought my mount during the podcast. Thank you, person that bought my mount.
It's sold finally.
No, I've got another one. So.
Oh, okay.
Thank you to someone else who bought that mount. Yeah, I logged in today after work and I was like, I'll do some bunny fates quickly. I opened 2 chests and I got the mount again. So thank you for that 6.1 million gil.
Nice.
Whoever you are. I'm not on right now, by the way. I'm not on Fantasy 14 for anyone that wants to know. I've got addicted to selling stuff on the market board with, with Eureka. And so I've got the phone app linked on my phone, and I'm like constantly checking the prices.
The one good use for the phone app.
Yeah, but the problem is
I downloaded that as well. Mm-hmm. I got the phone app ages ago, just so that I could sort out my inventory on the go. And then I never used it for sorting out.
Yeah, I fall into that category.
I'm only paying for the sub so I can get the second saddlebag.
Ah, yeah. So I'd like just one other quick shout out to Dad Gaming TV, just because he does a whole load of really interesting stuff, particularly around fashion and glamours and stuff, and did the first in-game event I've ever attended, which was a sort of Sprout fashion parade that I jumped in on and spent a whole night doing no content other than hanging out with other people and putting on random glamours, and it was so well set up and so well sort of organized. It just reminded me why this game is so brilliant, because there's so much stuff to do that's sort of community built and based. So check out his stuff. He's on Twitch and on Twitter, and he's doing some really, really interesting stuff right now.
He's part of Team Whiskers as well, which we are.
Oh,
go check out Team Whiskers.
A genuine certified hero.
Yay. But no, I want to shout out to everyone. There'll be some more giveaways next week with the big episode where we've got Mistoso and Chaos Unfolding, I think, from what I can tell. I think we've got those 2 on. And Paul will be streaming Tales of Berseria tomorrow, so I don't have to stream till next week now.
Not Tales of Berseria, Tales of Arise.
Tales of Arise. It comes out tomorrow.
In a few minutes.
Yeah.
So lucky I can't buy it until next month because I'm going away next week, so I have to keep all my money for traveling.
Well, have a good travel.
I shall.
So until next episode, this has been Chili and Paul and Amber and Fart Goose. This has been Moogle Go Around episode 129, I think.
Yep.
Okay.
129.
Join us next week for 130. Woo! Goodbye, everyone.
Good day.
Goodbye.